Todd Chrisley, a patriarch of the Chrisley family and star of the reality show Chrisley Knows Best, was shockingly sentenced to 12 years in prison in late November for bank fraud and tax evasion. Additionally, Todd's wife Julie also received a prison sentence. However, her sentence was only 7 years. The family's accountant, Peter Tarantino, was also sentenced to 3 years in prison. So what exactly happened? Before Todd Chrisley became famous for his role as the patriarch in the hit show Chrisley Knows Best, he made a fortune as a real estate developer and established a name for himself as a solid businessman in the Atlanta area. But then in 2014, the reality show that was based on the lives of Todd and his family was launched on the United States network. The show was a major success, earning Chrisley and his family millions of dollars, but it also helped to raise the profile of the Chrisley family. Between Chrisley's real estate empire and his hit show, Todd and his family got used to an extremely lavish and luxurious lifestyle. However, it appears that at some point over the last few years, Todd and his wife Julie were willing to go into some murky waters in order to try to improve their lifestyle even more and to get even wealthier. So here are the crimes. According to the United States Attorney Ryan K. Buchanan, Todd and his wife Julie conspired to defraud community banks in the Atlanta area in order to obtain more than $36 million in personal loans. To obtain the personal loans, the couple submitted false bank statements, false audit reports, and false personal financial statements to the Georgia banks with the help of former business partners. So it would appear that the Chrisleys committed outright bank fraud in order to trick banks in the Atlanta area into giving them loans that they then use to finance their lavish lifestyles. The money was spent on a wide variety of luxuries such as designer clothes, high-end vehicles, travel, as well as real estate. But once they attained a loan and spent all the money on themselves, they would then apply for a new loan and use the new loan to pay off the old ones and to keep financing their lifestyle. For years, this strategy worked successfully for the Chrisleys, but eventually, and as frequently happens with these types of schemes, the fraud was eventually discovered. Chrisley struggled to pay off the old loans fast enough and eventually filed for bankruptcy, walking away from more than $20 million in fraudulently obtained loans. Obviously, this, combined with some other evidence, sounded some alarms and caused the federal government to carefully investigate their finances. It turns out that despite the high profiles of his family and of his real estate business, Todd Chrisley and his wife also did not file taxes for the years of 2013, 2014, 2015, as well as 2016, thus committing tax evasion as well. So, between the tens of millions of dollars in bank fraud and the blatant tax evasion, the Chrisleys have gotten themselves into quite a situation. Considering the size and the scale of their tax fraud and tax evasion crimes, it makes you wonder if they knew that they would get caught at some point, so they decided to just go as big as they could and live as lavishly as possible before they eventually were found out. But here's how the fallout occurred. Todd Chrisley is set to serve his prison sentence at a minimum security federal prison camp in Pensacola, Florida, and Julie Chrisley is set to serve her sentence at a low security prison in Tallahassee. The judge chose these particular prisons so that the Chrisleys' children would be able to visit both of their parents in prison on the same day. It appears that putting Todd and Julie in prisons near each other, the judge has some sympathy for the Chrisley children because their parents will be in prison for very many years. In addition to serving lengthy prison sentence, Todd and Julie Chrisley will also be required to pay a significant amount of money as a restitution to their victims. The exact dollar amounts of these restitution payments has not been decided upon yet, but we will update you as soon as they are. Savannah Chrisley, Todd and Julie's 25-year-old daughter, will now have full custody of Grayson Chrisley, Todd and Julie's youngest son, who is 16 years old, and her cousin Chloe as well, who is just 10 years old. Todd and Julie had previously been awarded custody of Chloe and Todd's other son, Kyle, who's 33, who went through some difficult struggles. Luckily, despite being a star of the Chrisley Knows Best show, Savannah was able to avoid being entangled in her parents' fraud. Because she was not involved in the crimes, she will now be able to look after her younger brother and cousin until they are adults or until the Chrisley family comes back from prison. It is reported that Todd and Julie Chrisley plan to appeal their prison sentences. Supposedly, the appeal will be based on Todd and Julie's opinion that their former employee Mark Braddock was responsible for a large amount of the fraud that occurred. But this is where the story gets a little bit more complicated. Braddock was not only a former employee of Todd Chrisley, who worked at Todd's foreclosure management company, Chrisley Asset Management. At some point after they started seeing each other, secretly, supposedly, Braddock and Chrisley started receiving texts from an anonymous person blackmailing them and threatening to reveal their affair unless they paid some money. Now, in order to finance the bail money, Braddock supposedly helped Chrisley to commit the bank fraud. However, after Chrisley and Braddock's relationship ended, Braddock admitted to creating anonymous email addresses that he used to send incriminating evidence against Todd Chrisley and his wife to the FBI. Braddock confessed to all of this in a shocking testimony during Todd Chrisley's sensational trial. In exchange for testifying against the Chrisleys, Mark Braddock has been given full immunity, which protects him against legal consequences for his role in helping the Chrisleys commit bank fraud. Now, to conclude this whole situation, over the years, Todd Chrisley has developed a reputation for being quite the character on his reality show. Fans were entertained on a regular basis by Todd's regular trademark wit and sass, and his TV show provided many laughs and wild moments. But it appears that the activity that was happening behind the scenes with the Chrisley family was even wilder. But despite the shocking and sensational nature of this story, I really want you guys to consider this to be a cautionary tale, and there are plenty of lessons that we can learn from the Chrisley family situation. For example, number 1, you should never commit bank fraud. Even if you think you won't get caught, there is a very good chance that you will. This is especially true if a former lover knows of your crime and decides to inform the FBI of it with proof after your relationship ends, which is what happened to Todd Chrisley. Number 2, always pay your taxes. Todd Chrisley simply not paying his taxes is unfortunately not the only example of a celebrity simply deciding that taxes just don't apply to them. Other celebrities such as Wesley Snipes have also learned the lessons that taxes need to be paid every single year the hard way. So guys, never assume that you can get away with not paying your taxes or not filing your taxes. The IRS might not see it at first, but usually it catches up and will find out if you have committed egregious tax fraud. And number 3, be wary of living above your means. It appears that once Todd Chrisley got a taste of his luxury life, that he stopped being reasonable with his finances, instead over-leveraged himself and committed fraud in order to keep his lavish lifestyle going. Just think about this, guys. A prison cell is not a very lavish place to be, okay? Unfortunately for Todd, he will have to experience the lack of luxury in a prison cell for the next decade or so firsthand. It is possible that Todd's sentence will be reduced if he is successful with an appeal, but a number of legal experts have already weighed in after the sentence, saying that it is unlikely that he will be successful with his appeal due to the large sums of money involved and the abundance of evidence that has already been uncovered. So it appears that Chrisley really didn't know best after all. That's it for today's video, guys. Let me know what you think of the Chrisley family situation in the comments below. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. If you want to learn how to avoid ending up like the Todd Chrisleys by using the tax code correctly and legally to reduce your tax burdens, then feel free to join my Tax Alchemy course. You can find a link to the course in the description below this video. And that's it for today. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Cheers.